How Tech Companies Infiltrate City Councils to Build Data Centers by Theo Vaughn. Link to the original video in the description. Theo Vaughn is another one of those comedians that I absolutely love. He's one of the few comedians from the Rogan sphere that is actually willing to just like say it how it is and call people out. He's not going to play the games. And recently Joe Rogan came out and tried to like discredit him and call him suicidal and all this stuff because Theo Vaughn questioned Israel. It was very, very strange.
You wrote an article. It was like, if data centers aren't so bad, why are they building them in secrecy, I think?
Correct. Everything begins with that secret, even Hinckley, California.
Amen. Well, what hit me about it, if data centers are so great, why are they being built in secret?
Yeah, that was in Substack, the Brockovich report.
And you talked about the biggest one, which is built in Louisiana. In the flatlands, it says right here, in the flatlands of Northeast Louisiana, known for soybean fields and dense clusters of river cane, Meta is building a 4 million square foot AI campus called Hyperion.
That's crazy.
When finished, it will consume more electricity than the entire city of New Orleans and cover a footprint the size of Lower Manhattan.
What the fuck?
And then it says here, Meta's investment establishes the region as an anchor in Louisiana's rapidly expanding tech sector, revitalizes one of our state's beautiful rural areas, and creates opportunities for Louisiana workers to fill high-paying jobs of the future, said Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry in a press statement.
No, it does
I thank
fucking
Meta
not.
for their commitment to our state.
Dude, it creates like 200 temporary jobs, and that's it for while the place is being built. It doesn't generate any jobs. It steals electricity. It destroys the water supply. There's nothing good about AI data centers unless you're a government official hoping for mass surveillance or a corporation that owns one of these, the ability to create data centers, one of these AI companies.
And what shocked me here, though, was a resident of Holly Ridge, an unincorporated community in Richland Parish, said she found out about the data center the way everyone else in her community did when they started digging.
Correct.
And I was like, she says, nobody told us anything.
Correct.
They supposedly had a big meeting. The whole community was supposed to come. Nobody knew anything about it ever.
Correct.
But how did data centers come onto your radar?
So I woke up one morning and I had 30 individual emails from the same community regarding the same issues, data centers.
Wow.
So having done this for 30 years now, anytime I get a cluster of emails, that's a sign. And then I was like, data centers. It was almost a moment like in Hinckley, California. Hexavalent what is that? Data centers. What's going on with data centers? That I started looking into it and things, I don't know. My questions weren't being answered about data centers. So what I do is I like to see the big picture and I like to create maps. So I created what's called BrockovichDataCenter.com, where people, if they were having issues with data centers in their backyard, could self-report. And I've created self-reporting registry databases before.
I like that.
Think about it. We have no place where we can self-report. Everything that we report goes through an agency.
Wow.
Even in Hinckley, California, and it got stuck up in the California Health Department.
Of course.
Nobody ever knew.
And so many agencies are compromised anyway now, so why not create our own? This is amazing.
Right. And this is a place where people who I believe that are living, breathing, and experiencing.
Why are you yelling at us, lady? Just talk to us. What the fuck is this? You're not going to get anybody on your side talking like this.
These issues are the best source of information. So what I thought when I put this map out here, in the first 72 hours, the map crashed twice.
Wow.
And I woke up on day 3 going, oh my God, it's not one town.
I like this lady's message. I like what she's doing. I cannot stand the way she talks.
Aquifer and one data center. It's the entire country.
Wow.
We've talked about Louisiana from the Midwest. Now, the next thing that I noticed, because each one of these people in their submission, it wasn't this one town.
Who is this lady? I'm not really sure, to be honest. I wonder if it's in the description, actually. Oh, it's fucking Erin Brockovich. Okay. Yeah, it's Erin Brockovich, and apparently she's talking about AI data centers. I mean, I'm with her. I'm not really a fan of AI data centers at all. I just don't like the way she talks.
reporting the same thing. It's the whole country. They had no idea. They had no idea. They woke up to this construction. We weren't informed. City council didn't tell us anything. We're completely in the dark because these big tech groups came in and put these city council members under a non-disclosure.
Oh, is that what you...
That's crazy.
Correct.
Dog, how can you be this is weird to me. Dude, how can you be a government agency member that is put under an NDA by a corporation? That doesn't even make sense. That shouldn't be possible. Got one in my town? Dog. Oh, man. I'm sorry for you. I got really lucky. So near where I'm at, they were going to build a data center. And all of the people in the town got together and said, we do not want this data center. The politicians that, like the local politicians and the city council and the mayor put it in anyway. They all voted to put it in anyway. So what do? We voted out every single one of those little bitches, and we voted out the mayor and replaced them all with anti-data center people. It was nice. It was a really beautiful thing. I got very lucky, though, because it's very hard to get a group of actual patriots together,
In every state. In every state. Every city, every town reporting to me. We knew nothing. Non-disclosure agreements.
I just saw a video the other day. See if you can find that, Trevin. It's a woman.
I did just get an email, though, from my power company telling me they're going to try to put in another data center, but we're having a city council meeting about it in a couple weeks. So we'll see.
At a city council meeting.
Yes. I'm glad there's a bipartisan consensus on data centers. I honestly feel like the longer I sit around and the longer I talk, the longer I stream, and I've been doing a few political streams recently, the more I talk to people from both sides, because when you hop into a political stream of somebody you don't know, you have no idea if they're going to be left-wing or right-wing. So I've talked to both sides, and what I'm seeing is that we're all trying to get to the same house, and we're just taking different roads to get there, for the most part. There are definitely some fundamental disagreements between the left and the right, for sure. But I think the actual citizen population is way closer than they want us to believe. Not amongst the reps, though. Oh, yeah, no. The actual politicians aren't serious. None of our politicians are real, and none of them actually do the things they say they're going to do.
Oh, here, I see it. So it says right here. A resident of Tyrone Township, Michigan, confronted local officials with a simple question. Have you signed an NDA with any private party regarding developments that could affect the township? Yeah, this was the clip that I saw.
That's crazy.
Can we play it?
Have you personally signed any NDA, any agreement, or had any private communication, such as meetings, phone calls, text messages, or emails, with any developer, company, landowner, or representative regarding any current or...
Anarchism has some interesting aspects that can be adopted. There's a lot of interesting things from a lot of places. Realistically, I think we just need to be much, 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 much harsher on our politicians. Realistically, I think treason charges need to come back. I think, dude, there's a lot of things, I think, actually.
potential project that could affect Tyrone Township. Chris Ropetta.
No.
Dean?
No.
Jennifer?
I'm not answering your question. This is not the time or place.
I can ask you whatever I want.
Dude, this is one thing. This is a hot take. I think we need to repeal the Fifth Amendment. I think the Fifth needs to be repealed. Pleading the Fifth is always dude, it's crazy. It's a crazy thing. If let's say I'm asking my girlfriend, right, who I don't have a girlfriend at the time, so this is entirely hypothetical. But let's say I ask my girlfriend if she's cheating on me, and she says I choose not to answer. I immediately am going to think that she's cheating on me, So pleading the Fifth just doesn't make any sense. If you don't mind me asking, where do you stand politically? The best example of where do I stand politically is if Asmongold didn't want to suck Donald Trump's dick all the time. That's where I'm at. Do you have a girlfriend? I plead the Fifth. Yeah, I'd say my closest out, and it's not exact, it's not 1-to-1, but my closest amalgamation is definitely if Asmongold didn't want to gargle Trump's semen. That would probably be it.
Don't tell me what I can say.
I don't have to answer you.
But you're communicating with me, Jennifer. I didn't think you were supposed to do that. Greg Carnes, how about you, yes or no?
Not the place. We've already discussed this.
This is messed
Who's
up.
already discussed it? I'm sorry? Who's already discussed
This has
it?
been discussed.
Who
Let's
has?
go.
Who's discussed it?
This
I've not
lady,
discussed
this lady's a boss. I love this lady.
this with you. What are you saying?
Hell yeah.
Pam Moffler? Yes or no?
Wow,
This is
Pam,
messed
letting
up.
me down.
Damn, Pam.
Herman Ferguson?
Oh,
All of these people need to be not only voted out, but arrested. That's how I feel. If you're selling out your country, if you're selling out your country, you need to be in jail. What's even the point of laws if we're not protecting the citizens? I mean, that's literally the entire point of laws.
Herman boy.
Won't answer? Zach Tucker?
Mike, stop. You say
Excuse
guilty
me.
one more time, you're out.
Wow.
I'm not tolerating.
I love
my
that.
God.
This is what I love. This
love
woman,
this.
this mother, listen, I just become their biggest cheerleader. You know, this is not,
Why are you yelling at us, Aaron Brockovich? Stop yelling at us. What the hell? It seems, dude, like this lady has good points and she makes sense, but every time she talks, it sounds like she's trying to talk down to people. Like she thinks she's so much smarter than everybody else. It's a wild thing. I can't. I mean, maybe I am stupid because I can't think of the word for it. Patronizing. That's the word for it. She seems very, very patronizing. I like somewhere between liberal and social democrat, but I don't mind existing with anyone, to be honest. I think that there's room for all. Well, not all. There's room for most political beliefs, for sure. And there's value in most political beliefs. Just, I don't think that any one of us are 100% correct. And that's why, in theory, our government could work really well. In practice, it doesn't. But in theory, it could very well. I'd say I definitely have some very like social or what do you call it, like liberal aspects to me or whatever you want, like a slightly socialist aspects for sure. I believe in food stamps. I believe in I think Social Security should be protected, but I also don't really enjoy like I don't really think it's a good idea to massively immigrate people in. I don't think immigration inherently is bad, but I think that a slower pace would be much more indicative to the well-being of the American populace. I think that politicians should be held responsible for lying. They should not be allowed to lie to us at all. If they're found lying, they should be kicked out and put in jail. Said except for fascists and authoritarian communists. Yes, but I agree with you, but only under the ruling that we're talking about actual fascists and actual authoritarian communists, because I feel like the word communist and fascist today is thrown around so often. It's like hearing someone call someone a Nazi. You know, nowadays Nazi doesn't mean someone who, hates everybody and is super hateful. It just means someone who's not seeing your point of view. None of that's contradictory with liberalism, to be honest. I don't think it is either. And especially when you look at like 2008 Obama, who ran on the platform of basically exactly what I'm saying. Immigration control is fine. Oh yeah, no, I mean it's important for a country. You got to have your own culture, otherwise it's not the same country anymore, right? Danes have it. They're social democrats. Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't have a problem with any one group. Well, I have a problem with like 3 groups of political parties, and that's like the super far left, the super far right, and the political class that refuses to do anything. Which is essentially what you said. I don't like actual fascists, I don't like actual communists, and I hate our politicians.
my story. Hinckley wasn't my story. It was their story. This is their story. And it becomes all of our stories. And I love watching moments like that.
Yeah. Oh no, I think this is great. I like vigilante stuff. I like somebody who's just like in that moment where it's uncomfortable, you still speak. You speak.
Problem for me is when it becomes xenophobic, but immigration control is necessary for welfare state itself. Yeah, well, like xenophobia is a weird thing to me. There's like definitely how do I put this? I want to make sure I say this correctly because yeah, obviously xenophobia is a problem. It's a horrible problem. And it's not like just because you come from India or Pakistan or anywhere else, that doesn't mean that you're gonna be a fucking weirdo or a bad person. Obviously, it doesn't mean that. I just feel like we definitely need to be selective about all immigrants from every place. You know, we should only be accepting the best of the best. We're a pretty great country at this point, or at least we could be. And so we're at the point to where we should really, realistically, only be accepting net positives to society. Like, and by that I mean literally, and this is what I mean by it literally. People that don't take tax money, people that put in tax money instead. If you need help with stuff, honestly, I just don't feel like this is the time to be accepting people that need financial help and that need to, you know, that's just where I'm at. You know, I don't think that we're ready for refugees and stuff like that. And I don't think we're ready to send our money off to every other country while we're $40 trillion in debt. You know, you got to take care of your own people before you could start taking care of the rest of the world. And right now, our own people aren't taken care of. My belief is 100% that once we take care of our own people, then we could start taking care of the world again. But we need to slow down and focus on the Americans for a little bit, you know? Some people are an investment too, though, to keep in mind. Yes, no, and I get that. And it's like, I'm not against it forever. But I think that we need to slow down for a little bit and really focus on ourselves for a minute and make sure that we're all okay before we continue on this pace of helping people. We don't have the capital to help people. And meanwhile, Americans are failing. Like, you're making $20 an hour and you can't pay for your rent. You know, so like, I don't know. That's why it has to be judged on a case-by-case basis. Yeah, but and then that slows it down a lot too. I don't know. It's really hard to say. I'm not a expert on this at all. But I don't know. I think excluding someone just because of where they come from, probably a bad idea. Probably not a very healthy idea as a society. Which I know it's bureaucratic, but it's a necessary evil. Oh yeah, for sure. I actually had an interesting debate wherein I tuned into a show to argue against the hosts on their position that conservatism doesn't have any good ideas. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy to say that about, I mean, dog, even, and this is going to be a hot take, but even the worst political parties have at least one idea that's good. You know, even communists and full-on fascists have at least one idea that's good. A broken clock is right twice a day.
Through that uncomfort, that nervousness, you know, like whatever it is, like you're trying to speak to power and say, well, this is what this feels like from here. How are these big companies able to compromise?
But I mean, obviously for me, it's a level of disagreement. I told them I'm liberal and they were quite confused. Well, nobody can handle a person that agrees with them politically but doesn't think that no other political party should exist. Nobody can understand that. Dog, I was super right-wing whenever Donald Trump was coming up. Dog, I was so fucking in. And then I just kind of, you know, you kind of go and you learn more. I joined Twitter to get more involved, and I don't know. I see the value in every side. Maybe that's because I'm only kind of an idiot and not fully an idiot, but who knows? It's good to play devil's advocate too, arguing saying, see, no, dude, yeah. Cedric knows I do that all the time, dude, for real. You're the queen of that, for real.
And I'm not sure that these people are compromised. We don't know, right? But it's interesting what the conversation she's establishing here. It's interesting, some of their answers for sure. But how are some of these tech companies or any companies able to compromise some of these like smaller area council members?
Well, it's really easy to compromise a small area council member. So I actually had a buddy who his dad was a city council member, and the dude somehow, even though the city council didn't make that much money, lived in a mansion. Somehow he had a big ass mansion right in the middle of town. You know, it's pretty easy to buy these people off because they're not making a lot of money. That's the real truth of it. So I went on a long talk about economic theory, and there were audience members who just said it was boring. Debate is healthy and helps us all grow. It is. It is. No, I mean, people don't want to talk about economics because they're scared. I don't even, they claim any other thing, but the truth is they're either scared or stupid. They can't understand it or they refuse to. You guys heard about Emil Durkheim? I'd say I have not because I can't even pronounce the name.
etc. Do you think?
So these small rural.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm newer to the political sphere. I didn't get politically involved until I was maybe 28, 29 years old. I'm 31 now. So, politics is still very new to me, honestly. I'm not really super involved. And you know what's funny? The thing that actually got me involved in politics was Asmongold, but not from the way Edmund Burke. No, never heard of Edmund Burke either. But yeah, it's weird because it wasn't politics that Asmund was doing that got me into politics. It was the Johnny Depp trial. So for context, at the time of the Johnny Depp trial, right before it started, 'cause I had no idea this stuff was going on. Me and my girlfriend of 10 years we had a kid together, we broke up and I'd moved out. And of course, we were angry at each other, and she was doing everything to try and smear me online and just make shit up about me to all of our friends and family. She, knowing that I don't have a Facebook because I refused to have one, and I got banned back in 2013 and just never looked back. So she knows I have no rebuttal, so she's just posting these lies all about me. But then the Johnny Depp trial happened, and I'm watching it with pure catharsis because I'm seeing that there are people in the world who know that sometimes your ex, she was essentially my ex-wife, if you want to look at it that way. We never got married, but everything we had was together, and we built our lives together from our teenage years. So, essentially an ex-wife. And it was pure catharsis to see that people understood that the ex-wife is not always telling the truth, and sometimes she is just lying to hurt the ex-husband. And it goes both ways, for sure. But he's actually the founder of conservatism. Oh, Edmund Burke is? Word. Yeah, I don't know. But that's how I got into politics, was Asmongold doing the Johnny Depp trial. And after that, I just kind of stuck around for a while. His politics got a little one-sided at a certain point. I feel like for a while, he was able to see, and he was a little extreme, but he was able to see both sides a lot of the time. And I don't know. This is a conspiracy theory, but it kind of looks like Donald Trump has paid off Asmongold. It kind of seems that way. With the way that no matter how many promises he breaks, no matter how many things he does to the detriment of the American people, he refuses to admit that it was wrong to support him, and he still is a super supporter. It's very strange to me how someone who can say he only believes in ideas and he doesn't believe in people will support somebody who's a person who goes against all the ideals that they ran on. It's very strange to me when people are unable to give up their own side. Because like I said, I was a pretty big Trump supporter when he was coming up, and I just, during the second time, I should say, and I don't understand how people can be so blind, honestly. Because once someone tells you who they are, believe them. Once someone shows you what they do, watch, pay attention. I think most political ideas start off good from a good place with many good ideas, but then they get eroded with shit over time. Like, I'm not a Marxist, but Das Kapital was a work of art. Dude, yeah, it's like, in a perfect world, if humans weren't scumbags, communism would actually be the right way. That's the thing. That's the actual truth. If humans were not scumbags, then we could do communism, and it would be great. The problem is humans are scumbags, and we can't do it. Like, that's the real truth. Must have been a great experience. No, it wasn't. What kinds of stuff she posted? No, nothing criminal. Just stuff, but saying like, for example, she would call me like an abusive asshole. And by the way, never touched this girl. She was talking about emotional abuse. And so this girl would do stuff when we were breaking up, because we broke up And then I stayed there for about 5 months before I left. You know, we were basically making sure that everything was set up and I could leave. And what she would do is she would come home, scream in my face about nothing. And then as soon as I got angry, she would press record on her phone and start pretending like she never said anything wrong. She did this so many times that at one point I just decided, you know what? I'm going to press record on my phone because I know she's about to walk in the door. I had cleaned the whole house that day, took care of our kid all day. She walks in the door. It's 10 minutes till midnight, and there's a pair of our daughter's shoes on the floor. And she starts screaming, telling me she's going to have me killed by her friends, all kinds of stuff like that. And I have it on record the whole time. When I showed her that I was recording, she literally tried to take my phone and smash it. Yeah. Yeah. So it was stuff like that. It was stuff like that that was happening. Because then after I left, she knew I had no rebuttal. So those little, audio snippets and videos that she had taken, she posted online to make me look like a complete asshole. And to be fair, my responses were never like very even-headed, because when someone's telling you they're gonna have you killed, you turn around and you fucking say some heinous shit back. There was one time where she told me I was leaving for work, I was late for work, and she didn't work that day. And our dog, who's a pretty aggressive dog, I couldn't take him out. I was like, I don't have time, I gotta go. She said that if I didn't take him out to shit, she was gonna take him to a kill shelter. So naturally, I freaked out, and I told her I would kill her if she did that, but she only got that part on the recording, of course, so I don't know. Obviously, I went overboard. I'm not saying I was in the right every time, for sure, but it felt really good to see the other side of it, that people could see it. You said, I'm sorry for saying this, but Asmongold eats out of Trump's asshole. No, he does. You don't have to be sorry for that. You're 100% right. You're 100% right, and I don't know why he's doing it, honestly. Does she still have custody? The weird thing is, she threatened to take me to court over and over and over again over our kid. Never did. Never did. I think it's because, she would not do well in a family court environment because she'd have to compose herself. She's not very good at that. And I never wanted to take her to court because realistically, I think she's a good mother. Me and her, and this might be weird, me and her did not get along at all in the end. We hated each other to the point where today she actually has me blocked on her phone. So I literally can't talk to her. I get my daughter 3 days a week, by the way. 3 days out of every single week I get my daughter. I cannot talk to her mom because she has me blocked. That's how much we hate each other. I have to go through her parents, It's very strange. But I think she's a great mother. I really do. I think she's a really good mom. I am glad that her and my daughter have a great relationship and that we can still do this whole thing while not having to talk to each other. It's actually the best way possible. But she never took me to court, ever. So we just kind of have a deal, Yeah. I think toxic people are wild regardless of gender. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. But that's the thing. We were both very toxic. I've said a little bit about how, she did some bad things, but it's not like I never was a fucking monster. I was a piece of shit too, for real. We were just not good for each other, That's the real truth. I think it's good you came to a mutual understanding, hate each other, but the kid comes first. Yes. Yes. Well, and we did come up with a deal long before we even had a kid, because we both dealt with this as children, where we said if we ever had a kid and then we split up, we would never ever talk shit about about each other to our kid, because during our entire childhoods we dealt with that, and it just makes you hate everything, So I've made it an explicit purpose, no matter how mad I am at her mom, I will never ever ever talk shit on her mom to her in her entire life. Until maybe she's 20 and we can have real conversations. But until then, I'll let her just grow up and tell her mom is right. She needs to listen to her mom, I often wonder if she understands how supportive I am of her, but, I'm not really worried about it.
Council members they don't have a lot of funding. And these big companies are coming in and they're talking $10 billion. And these council members are very lured by that.
You said fully agreed. My sister talks shit constantly about her ex to my oldest nephew, and it drives me insane. It's absolute childish behavior, dude. It really is, because you can't handle yourself. You can't help yourself to not do that. Like, I don't know. I've never dated and don't want either, but I do see people in my circle who have had disasters with dating. I feel that, actually. I'm completely out of the dating life. I have not even attempted to go, like, even talk to a woman in like 3 years. And that's because after I split up with my ex and, I re-entered the dating scene, I found out that the current modern dating scene is actually completely fucked. And it's like, I don't like using this word. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this word, but it fits perfectly here. It is incredibly toxic. It is incredibly toxic, especially for a man, dude. Like, and I can only say this because I am a man. I don't know from a woman's perspective, but as a man, it is extremely toxic to be in the modern dating scene, and it sucks. It feels horrible. It really does. Do you want to eventually? No. If it happens, there's always that one thing where it could happen by accident, I could run into somebody that I just really vibe with, and, like, that's where it would be. But no, I have no plans in the future of that at all. We've got a little distracted. That's my fault. This happens all the time. But let's get back to data centers and how they're evil incarnate.
Because they want to have infrastructure and things like that in their own backyard. And they were kind of misled, but to sign a non-disclosure agreement probably didn't seem like a big deal to them for a big exchange.
You said you've decided deliberately to never date or get married. It's a good idea. It's a good call.
To the city council and to the community to make all this money to build this center.
Actually, I will say, though, I think I wish that I didn't feel this way, because I do think it's important for families to exist. It's very important for families, and especially people with, like, strong moral values and, like, actual, like people with the ability to think, to have a real family. The issue is that people who are able to think and people who are not stupid realize how bad the world is and how, like I said, toxic the dating scene is and all this different stuff. And the people who are smart don't want to be involved in it because they're smarter than that. And that's literally the exact plot of Idiocracy, is that the smart people are just like, yeah, I mean, we're just not trying to have kids, or we're just not ready to, or something like that, or I just don't even want to talk to a girl, and then, or I don't even talk to a boy, and then, 1,000 years later, 100 years later, however long, now only the idiots have had kids, and you end up with only idiots. It's kind of a catch-22. I think if society were better, if the economy was better, and all that stuff, a lot more people would want to have kids. A lot more smart people, I should say. I'm very moral. I only won't be moral if my life is under threat or if someone gives me money. Super based.
And they're lured into thinking it's going to create jobs and long-term economic gain, when that's actually not what's happening.
I'm at the point now to where it would actually be impossible to buy me out. I have lived as a very, very poor man for my entire life, and I've worked hard. I've had decent jobs, and I was still poor. I'm at the point now to where no matter what, like, you could offer me $10 million, you couldn't buy me out. That's the real truth. We'll see if that value sticks forever, but right now that's where I'm at for sure. I mean, I guess if someone came up to me with $1 billion, I might have a different change of mind, For me, I don't want to date or marry because I want to pursue my writing projects instead. Oh, word, what kind of stuff do you write? You said $5 is $5. After this, I'll show you something that I wrote. It's a little silly, but I had fun with it. But let's keep it going.
It's the hook.
Do you think
You're
a lot of them are
retired for
actually?
life,
So
so I
do you think a
feel
lot of the
like-
council people are actually lied to as
Yeah.
well? Like it's a.
Relatively,
Well,
your family's
apparently-
well off. I mean, yeah, that's good. I don't like the whole thing of people, like, I know a lot of, I grew up in a very, very rich town. I was the poor kid. I was Kenny from South Park, but everybody else was very, very rich. And I mean, like, the types of people who have, like, 30 windows on the front of their house type rich. Like, that's how big their house is. I don't remember where I was going with that. Oh yeah, but now I do. A lot of these kids, especially when they were teenagers, they wanted to come off as if they were poor. They really, really did not want anybody to know how much money they had. They thought it was like an original sin in a way to come from money, and I just don't see it that way. You know, it's okay to be proud of your heritage. It really is. If your family was able to create a good start for you, that's actually a good thing. That just means your family worked hard and they got to a place to where they could help people, you know? Like that, or to where they could help themselves at least and help their family. I just don't even see that as a bad thing ever. I went from poor to objectively rich, then lived off that money for a while, then came back to the farm to live poor but happy. It seems that that's the natural cycle for a lot of people. Country's very poor rather than us being rich. Ah, I see. Yeah, but even if you guys are just like regular middle class or whatever for your countries, like whatever's going on there economically, I there's a lot of people who I see who think that they need to apologize for being born into a good situation. And honestly, I just think that you guys should just be proud that your parents were able to do that for you, you know?
They aren't asking a whole lot of questions about data centers, and they're just more lured by the money. And that's the thing that really fascinated me with the self-reporting map. Because
and you said we're top 2% in terms of income earnings, but that's only because people make $3,000 a year. Oh my God. Okay. What the hell? That's very, very little, dude. Holy crap. You know, I wonder though what the relative cost of living is. I bet it's still kind of high comparatively, like the value of the dollar versus what you need to spend it on. I still bet it's pretty high. I bet that's pretty rough for a lot of people. Well, damn. Sometimes you don't really realize that your country isn't as bad off as it could be, you know? It's still bad. Oh, I'm sure. Like, I look at America a lot, and I see the bad things, but hearing things like this is why I love the internet, by the way. Hearing things like this really puts it into perspective, you know? Because it's like, it could definitely be a whole lot worse. And one day it probably will be, but, you know, we don't hit the brakes here, we hit the gas. It's the American way.
Announced to all these.
What are brakes? We're going to crash faster, like a Warhammer orc, you know? That's why I'm moving abroad next year. Oh, hell yeah. That'll be interesting. Got a foreign passport, and nice. Hell yeah. You know, I wish I could travel the world. I've traveled all of America, actually, pretty much. All the way west, all the way east. A little bit north, a little bit south. So that's pretty much like traveling Europe. I mean, it's like probably way bigger, actually.
These other communities in different states across the country, they're reporting the exact same thing.
America, yeah. Rock, flag, and eagle. Hell yeah.
I'm baffled. You're talking all of our city councils, because I tell people go local.
Yeah.
And if this is a situation in building data centers, you've got to go local because you need the permitting and the zoning. And they're lured into this, but that every city council across the United States of America was that lured by money? Because
well, imagine how much money these people have. All these data centers that are being put up are owned and operated by the richest people in the country, and I'm talking by magnitudes that amounts of money that we couldn't even conceptualize. Like so much money that you literally couldn't even imagine having it. There's no concept for it that can exist in your brain. So like there's no price too big for them to pay off these politicians. They could pay it. No problem, really. I heard this quote that really fucked with me. I don't remember who said it, but they said, "What's the difference between $1 million and $1 billion?" And the guy said, "About $1 billion."
because these facilities are going in every state, multiple counties and cities across the entire country.
So that was a lot of the reporting you were getting, the self-reporting from people.
That was the first thing that made them mad.
That we didn't know it. Nobody knew.
Didn't know.
But how are these companies able to do it?
Dog, that just got auto-modded. That's crazy. I'm allowing that. Doug, Dog, what the fuck is Twitch owned by Russia or something? Because that was weird. It just auto-modded you for saying I don't like the Russian government, by the way. It literally tried to block that. That's crazy. I don't like the Russian government. They're trying to start a war in Eastern Europe over nothing. I mean, it's all about perspective, right? You gotta see where they're coming from at the same time. Putin's watching. Probably. Oh man. Hey, what's up? What's up, Putin? What's up, dude? I hate you. No, just kidding. I don't know enough about Putin to say whether I hate him or not yet. Oh, I have links blocked because of bots. Sorry. But yeah, I think that with all of these these global things that are happening across the world, it's important to see it from every side, you know? While I don't think that Russia is in the right, at this point, I don't really think that anybody's really in the right. You know, that's how I feel about most wars that happen, actually, at this point. Like, the more I research, because, you know, as I said, I'm 31 now. So, of course, I'm a 31-year-old man. I'm starting to learn more about World War II. That's just how it works. I started to get interested in World War II. And the more I learn about it, the more I find out that every single person was a scumbag. Everybody was a bad guy. There were no heroes in World War II. Everyone was bad. And I'm finding out that that's just kind of history, you know? Search up Be Alliance Stay Fear on YouTube. All right, we'll check that out after
without people knowing,
Hell
like,
yeah. I
because
wanna finish
isn't
this
there
video,
like,
though.
aren't there
This is my problem. I'll turn an 18-minute video into a 2-hour reaction real quick on accident.
laws where you have to say, okay, this is something that's being planned in our city or in our town, and then people are allowed to come? Or did you notice some sort of pattern where they're able to?
All right, dog. What is going on with my auto mod? All right. So for anybody wondering in the future who sees this, now it just auto modded him for saying Hitler was the worst scumbag. What? What's happening here? What the fuck? Oh my god.
manipulate that.
A lot of
man.
people are reporting that they thought they were building a warehouse.
That's why. So to put this into context, it has now auto-modded you for saying that you don't like what the Russian government is doing, attacking their neighbors, and that Hitler was a scumbag. That's what Twitch has auto-modded. You said Twitch is pro-Hitler and pro-Russia? They must be. They would pick a side. Actually, I mean, realistically, they're pretty close. You know? Shit. Oh, damn. Same side, to be fair. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of the same side. It's pretty close, at least. But whenever I look back at World War II, what I'm saying about that, though, is that, like, between, you know, Hitler and Emperor Hirohito and Joseph Stalin, there was just, and even Winston Churchill and even FDR, who I think that was our president at the time, everybody was doing bad shit. Or Harry Truman was the bad one. That's right, because he dropped the bombs. Oh man, yeah. And so, like, you know, once you drop an atomic bomb on somebody, you're for sure a bad guy. Once you drop the second atomic bomb on somebody, now there's some shit that's really fucked up, okay? Now, to be fair, I think the first bomb was probably a little necessary. I don't think Japan would have ever quit if that didn't happen. The second bomb was just because we could. All of them were, but Hitler was the worst. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he was a monster. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he wasn't a monster. I'm not. I'm just saying that it seems like a lot of them were very monstrous, you know?
House.
Ah.
And so construction began.
Like, I just learned about Section 731. That was it, right? I think. That was like the Japan testing facility where they were locking up prisoners and giving them bubonic plague and stuff like that, and like vivisecting them, which is like live dissection and stuff. And they did that to like 100,000 people or something. So it's there's a lot of bad. Churchill starved like 3 million of them here in the east of my country for no reason. Yeah, Churchill was a monster too. Sorry, Harmony. Yeah, but the thing is, sometimes to defeat a monster, you need a monster. There's an episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine that goes into that, where Cisco, he's the captain, is chasing down a guy who betrayed Starfleet and joined like this rebel movement. And he realizes that he's never going to catch him just chasing him like a Starfleet officer. So he has to start thinking like the villain. And what he does, and this is crazy, is he bombs an entire planet with a biogenic weapon that makes it unlivable for 30 years. And then calls the guy and tells him, hey, guess what? I'm going to your next planet, and I'm going to do it there, too. And, and then the guy turns himself in, which I think it's pretty honest for that, I'd serve anyone who gives me money, to be honest, and then betray them for power. That's pretty based.
And they thought it was a warehouse, or we're here putting in a solar farm, or some other reason. Hey, we're going to build this out because it's great economic base for our community. Mm-hmm. But as it starts to go from non-disclosure, so we start at proposal.
Is this lady on Percocets? I know a lot of ladies about her age that are like on like some sort of downer, and they sound a lot like her. They look a lot like her too in the facial expressions. I think this lady might be on downers.
Like that woman, she was in proposal phase, and she was pushing back then, but they wouldn't answer her, probably because they'd already signed the non-disclosure, and they were getting ready to go into the next phase, construction phase. And it's during a construction phase that people are like, whoa, wait a minute. You're destroying the land. You're cutting down all the trees.
That's when people notice it.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like, what's happening?
Agreed. I mean, I think that's what the same thing that's happened here, even locally in Nashville. It's like, that's when it started to like.
So with the AI data centers as well, my electric bill, since I moved into my apartment about 5 years ago. When I moved in, my electric bill would, depending on what time of year it was, would be from $30 to $70. Today, it's about $200 to $500, depending on where I'm at in the year. That's how much the data centers and all this other stuff has, because like I said, in my town, the one nearby at least, we stopped it, but they're still popped up all over everywhere else around here. And we're paying for it. And then also this electric company made $4 billion in profit in 1 year. $4 billion in profit. And then we're going to pay them extra money. So now we're paying extra into the electric. This is something that our governor signed in so that they can build more power facilities. These are the same people, by the way, that 2 years ago were found guilty of, for a decade straight, dumping toxic waste into a river. And they had to pay like $100 million for it, which is basically nothing. It's a slap on the wrist to them. It means nothing. So these people that were dumping toxic waste into the river and made $4 billion in profit expect $3 billion from us to pay for their new buildings. It's like, dog, you guys made more than that in profit in 1 year. Pay for it yourself. What the fuck? I just want everyone to be happy, but I want to be more happy, so... Yeah, that's a very American policy, actually, and I'm very about it. I'll build myself up, and I'll leave the ladder down there for you, but I'm going to make sure that you can't actually get to where I'm at. No, you could climb up with me, but you're not getting as high as I am. No, but I do feel that it's important to make yourself happy first. Dude, it's like that old saying, it's like, how can you take care of somebody if you can't take care of yourself, Come over to the other side, Reed. Dude, there's no side for me. That's the funny part, is that my beliefs are very fluid. My value system is based off of the information that I get. And it will, like, this same day next year, my value system will be different than it is today, because it constantly fluctuates based on what I learn and who I see trying to lie to me, more importantly.
Like it wasn't in the beginning phase where people even knew what was going on. It's almost like in the too
My value
late
system's
phase.
fluid too. That's how it
what
should
I'm
be.
noticing.
Yeah.
Let me look at this Spartanburg County data center lawsuit. Residents say $2.8 billion project was
There you go.
wrongly classified as minor development.
How can you classify a $2.8 billion project as minor? That's just absolute, like, dude, everybody you would see this on paper. And the second you would see this, you would know it's a scam. This is how I know that it's well with like the scams that are happening in America with all the different welfare systems and the tax systems or whatever that are being taken advantage of. It's like you could very easily solve this. And for an example, I'll give you an example of how they can figure this stuff out. They could very easily solve this though. If they wanted to. But it took for that Nick Shirley fellow to show up and to point out that there are people scamming the hell out of our taxes for them to do anything. You want to know how I know that they could figure this out on their own? So when my grandmother died, my grandfather kept collecting her Social Security for about 2 months. And then the government hit him up and they were like, hey, dude, we know you did that. Now you're either going to go to jail or you had to pay back all that money. Like they found out real quick whenever he was scamming the system. So it's not like they don't know. It's not like they can't figure it out. They just don't want to. Why? Who knows? Who fucking knows? That's why I insult Islam on Fox News and then take money from Saudi sheiks to praise it in Arabic on Al Jazeera. Oh my God. Hell yes. That's how you have to be. You gotta make that money. No, I'm kidding. Oh man. No, I am at the point in my life, though, to where, honestly, I can't really even say anything that I don't believe in, and it's not because I don't want to be a liar. It's because I have verbal diarrhea, and whatever happens inside of my brain comes out of my mouth.
A group of residents suing Spartanburg County and Valera Holdings, LLC, the company behind a nearly $3 billion data center under construction along South Pine Street. Public records show Valera submitted an application to redevelop about 905,000 square feet of the former Kohler industrial plant as a minor land development. The county approved it. Weeks later, the company submitted a second application for phase 2 improvements, including 4 proposed buildings totaling about 494,000 square feet, along with a power yard, internal roadways, electrical equipment, a metering station, mechanical cooling systems, and stormwater ponds.
Dude, by the way, the metering thing, so you're supposed to get charged off of your like water usage and your electric usage based off of how much you use. That's what you're supposed to be charged for. However, nowadays they have what's called an electronic meter, which means that the person doesn't stop at your house to read the meter. He drives by and his little machine will scan it and it could get it wrong. And then it bases it off of your average usage. So there's a perfect example of a dude who moved into his house. And his water bill was pretty steady. And then he went on vacation for an entire month. Came back and saw that his water bill was the same price. And he's like, what the fuck? I didn't use my water at all. Well, it turned out they were driving by, and since they couldn't get any data, they assumed it was broken. And so they averaged it out from the usage of the year before. And the real issue with that is that he didn't even live there then. He didn't even live in the house then. And that's what they had been apparently doing the whole time, was basing the total average or the total amount they would charge him off of the person who lived in the house the year before. Yeah.
The application.
And that's just a regular thing, which is crazy to me.
Also was approved as a minor land development. An attorney said they also broke it into 2 parts. First, they did a smaller application, which was still a big development, and called that minor. So they're saying that they classified it as minor, and obviously that doesn't sound very minor.
No.
No. And this is
Wow,
happening everywhere. First of all, I love how you pull stuff.
She is for sure on downers. I like what this lady's doing, but she is 100% on downers.
Up like that. You and me could work on this shit together.
Oh my God, she's for sure on drugs.
I'm just saying.
That's what drug addicts
Really?
say.
What would I do? Do I have to go to court? I can be Atticus Finch.
I said tax the poor, feed the rich before it became popular. Damn, like a reverse Robin Hood,
son.
like a hood Robin.
You'll do the.
Ricky Finch.
So
You'll
she's
steal the
pretty?
two-headed frogs with
Oh,
me.
I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion.
I'll put him in that
We'll get this all put in an
man.
order that everyone understands. That'd be great.
I'll put one of them in that frog jumping
I couldn't possibly agree with you, but you are entitled to think that.
contest that's over there in Louisiana. What parish is that in over there? Rain over there. The Rain Frog Festival. Now that two-headed frog, he's a little top heavy.
Yeah, he is
know
a
what I'm
little
saying?
top heavy. Might not win, but going back, it's so great to
You said JK? Okay, all right.
to understand what is that the future. You got to go back in time.
Mm-hmm.
So to understand these things, you're going right back in time. That's very dyslexic.
Yeah. Oh, it's dyslexic thinking. Yeah, that's what we're doing here.
But to your point about the NDAs, they're
not-
like using
She
shell
looks like
companies.
Marjorie Taylor or MGT. Oh God. Oh, I thought you were saying you said MTG, which is Marjorie Taylor Greene. What the fuck? Oh, you are. Yeah. MGT. Yeah. She kind of does.
The city council's
see that.
rezoning, doing different permits for minor changes or a warehouse that they're just expanding on.
Yeah.
See, but what if they meant minor as like they were digging out the ground? They were excavating. That's why it was a minor development. It's not because it was small. It's because they were excavating.
So they're telling you the truth, but not the full truth.
How do we force these companies to be more transparent? Like, what can we do?
Well, that's a very big question because they have all the money in the world. And for
Yeah.
smaller communities and city council, I don't know, maybe they're gullible, but it's pretty hard to turn.
Every person has a price. That is the truth. Every person has a price. Now, some prices you're not able to pay. Some prices are too high. But everybody has a price.
Turn it down.
It'd be nice to
And
them.
I think the big companies, I think the responsibility is on them. By way of example, Microsoft
I'm not nice to nobody.
has just
I don't even know what nice means.
now announced they're removing all the NDAs. They now realize this was a bad way to approach it. But that is incumbent upon them. They know damn good and well what they're doing, but they're the ones that are not transparent.
You're talking about the NDAs regarding the data centers.
I'm talking about the big companies. They're the ones that are not being.
I'm not going to drop my morals for money. There's no price. Yeah, I mean, there could be no money price, but let's say they come and they threaten your family. Like, are you willing to pay that price? So like, there's always a price. You know what I mean? To buy me, everybody's got their price. It's just some prices, these villains aren't going to actually pay. They're not going to actually do. But everybody's got one.
Transparent. And then they mislead possibly all these council members.
Understood, yeah.
And the council members at some point know their tits in a ringer because
So
they had
my
a
morals
not
are absolute.
NDA.
Hell yeah.
So now their
Hell
constituents.
yeah. That's honestly how I feel too. There's no way you could buy me out or threaten me to stop to stop speaking my mind or to believe something else or to pretend like I believe something else. I think that, like, I'm already at the point in my life to where it's like I don't really fucking care about myself very much at all, to be honest. Like, I have very little care for myself. I don't give a shit. Like, I barely take care of myself even because I care so little. But so it'd be very, very impossible to actually convince me to change my mind about something. You could literally tell me I'm going to murder you, and I'd be like, okay. Okay. Like, whatever. Except if you give me $5,234,677, in which case I can negotiate. Yeah, you know what I always did say though? I said you could tell if your friend's a liar by walking up to them. It used to be $1 million, but now we have to up it. But you could tell your friend's a liar if you walk up to them and you say, "Would you suck a dick for $100 million?" If they say no, they're a liar. I'm sorry, dude, but I'm stroking the shaft. I'm swallowing the gravy, dude. Oh my god, hope you're doing fine. Oh yeah, no, I don't mean that as like a you know, there's never a poor me moment from here, honestly. I just like to say it how it is. Like I'm not whenever I say I don't care, that doesn't mean I'm depressed or anything like that. It just means I don't care. Like I am at the point of there are many, many things that are more important than me, basically, is where my mind is at.
Constituents are like, did you sign an
Fuck $1 million, I'll go for $1.
NDA? Well, I signed an NDA. I'm not going to tell you I signed an NDA.
Oh,
now
God.
they realize they're in a little quagmire, and maybe now they realize they're being lied to. But
Yeah.
it's amazing that these big companies, you're talking the biggest companies in the
For
world.
sure. I mean, we're talking Microsoft right here. I mean,
Microsoft, Meta, companies that are literally, dude, crazy money.
Invaded like the entire United States and all of our city councils.
I'd imagine your daughter would be. This is going to sound bad. Nope. I love my daughter more than anything in the entire world. There's nothing that could change my mind about who I am, except for facts and just like learning things. Like that's it. That's just facts. That's the only thing that could change my mind. Like I know that sounds a little fucked up as a dad, but no, there's no way. Realistically, if I had the choice, I'd put myself in her place every single time, or maybe her mom. But no, yeah. No, like your daughter would be a priority. Well, my daughter is a priority for sure in every way, every facet of my life. Like in regular life, everything I do revolves around her, straight up. I don't make any choices in my life that don't go through the filter of, is this good for my kid? That's all, every decision I make. Not talking about a situation like that, so I didn't mean that. Oh, no worries. Hey, dude, like I said, I don't really care, but I care a lot, but I don't care. It's weird kind of paradox, but I'm willing to talk about everything. I'm willing to discuss every single thing. I don't think that locking stuff off because it makes people uncomfortable or is just hard to talk about is really a good thing to do, you know?
well, it's all so organized.
You never have
at
to worry
such
about
deeper,
that with
dark-
Absolutely.
at deeper, darker levels. I want to go on two things real quick. For one, and this is just something I thought of. It's funny if you signed an NDA,
Yeah.
if somebody asked
No, yeah,
you,
priorities in life. She definitely is the number one priority out of every single thing in the entire world for me. 100%. I definitely feel that. That is
it's
where
like
it is.
you kind of all you can do is kind of like you're like you can kind of only make the letters NDA, like you can kind of make those sounds like
There you go.
Theo Vaughn's way smarter than he pretends to be. This is what I love about Theo Vaughn is he's a guy who has figured out that nobody wants to be in a room with someone that's smarter than them. So he plays the idiot, but this dude's a genius.
so anyway, I just thought
Not
that was
sure.
interesting. Yeah.
Once a child's born, I guess that's true.
There you
yeah.
go.
Anyway.
We can make
There's two types of parents in the world, and that's it. There's parents that filter everything that they do through if it'll be good for their child, and then there's parents who only care about themselves. Those are the only two types of parents in the world.
a song at that for NDAs.
But sorry, and that was just ridiculous, I think. But it says right here in January, Microsoft announced
Probably why
our
I don't want to have a
community-
kid or date. That's totally fair. I totally get that. It's a tough thing, dude. I'll tell you. Once you become a parent, it is the most stressful thing that exists, but it's also the most rewarding. It for sure is. Nothing will melt your heart like a little you running up to you and telling you that you're their favorite parent. That's like the greatest feeling in the entire world. Every time that my daughter leaves and says that she doesn't want to leave my house, that she'd rather stay with me, it melts my heart. It's a great. It's like, I mean, yeah, it's a little bittersweet, you know, because she has to go back to her mom's, but it's a great feeling. It is.
First AI infrastructure plan outlining our commitments to the community.
But that being said, I'm not trying to evangelize for having children. I think that nobody should have kids if they're not mentally ready. Like, fiscally ready, most people won't be very fiscally ready no matter what. But you have to be mentally ready for it. It's nice to have you for you. I appreciate that. Hell yeah.
communities where we
Beautiful thing.
operate or are seeking to operate data centers. As part of that announcement, we called for greater degree of local transparency. Today, we're sharing that Microsoft has made the decision to end the use of non-disclosure agreements
Everywhere.
with local governments as the
Really?
next step in our work to deliver that transparency. We're committed
You
to
know what's crazy to me about Microsoft is, or not Microsoft, sorry. I got distracted, or they're talking about Microsoft. I thought they were talking about Google for some reason. What's crazy to me about Google has everybody's information, more information than anybody in the history of the world. They have it all. They have all the info, and yet somehow they have the literal worst AI out of everybody, besides for maybe Microsoft, whose AI is pretty fucking bad too.
sharing information about our data center plans as openly as possible as we continue to build trust with the communities around the world in which we operate. But do you think that they did this after they already had everything done that they wanted, or do you think that they realized, oh, this is backfiring, and so we have to backtrack and do it like this?
I think they tried to get away with it, just like
does, that
PG&E
question,
did.
does that question make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
So they don't learn. Sometimes they don't learn transparency. Just fucking say it on the upfront. And this is what I've learned. People will handle that truth. They won't handle the lie. So I think Microsoft realized what they
Well, the thing is, most people are just sick of being lied to. Most people are just absolutely sick of it. Nobody wants to be lied to by your government, by your parents, by your friends, by your family. Nobody wants to be lied to. It's a bad feeling.
we're not
It's not about the readiest, to be honest. I just have, because I have no fear of having a kid, but it just won't be possible given other factors for me. Hey, that's totally fair. I mean, it's all about being, when I say being prepared, like mentally, that doesn't mean like, well, like I could never do it because I feel like I would be a bad parent. That just means like someone who wants to be in a long-term relationship, who wants to have a kid, who wants to have all that
I'll
stuff.
take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts. That'll be $4, baby.
$4, baby! You want fries with that?
From my favorite movie of all time. Hell yeah. What's up?
expecting. And what nobody, in my opinion, was expecting was the backlash from the people.
Amen.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that glitch was, but they're like, I don't think so. So that's where they came back in. And you bet.
Because people are finally, and thank God for this, people are finally starting to get sick of it. And they're actually starting to mobilize, and they're actually starting to do things about the government taking advantage of the people. We've let it happen for many, many decades, but it does seem like the people are actually standing up and doing the work. You said, I don't want to date, although relationships are beautiful. Oh, yeah, no, but it's one of those things where you have to be 100% ready for all of it, and you have to want it, and if you don't want it, then it's not worth it. And I do think that more people need to recognize that not everybody would, it's not imperative that everybody has a kid. It's not. I think the families are a great thing. Children are a great thing. But it's not imperative that every single person has a kid.
Better correct that before you find yourself in some huge litigation.
Amen.
And these litigations, and when you're talking about something like this, and like even in California, we've gone from the water to the fires. They're not selling for $333 million. They're selling for $38 billion.
Yeah.
So Microsoft, I think, tried to get those NDAs through, and then
You said, I don't know what the morally right response in the case of accidental pregnancy is. Well, I have some weird thoughts on that. So it depends on the laws of where you are. That's how I feel. So now, if abortion is legal, then for as long as a female can have the abortion, the man should be able to walk away, no problems. Because if one party gets to make that choice, then both parties get to make that choice. In the places where abortion is illegal, if you get someone pregnant, you have to be there. Yeah, or you have to at least financially help. Something, That's for me. That's how I feel.
did not expect the backlash.
Because laws, we need way more two-way streets with laws. There's a lot of laws that just go one way. And from whatever, it depends on what you're looking at, but there's a lot of laws that just go one way. And I just think that everything needs to be a two-way street. If you get to decide that you don't want to have a kid, I get to decide that I don't want to have a kid. You know, that should be the rule.
From the people.
Amen.
So we, the people, once again, change the course of direction.
Hell yeah.
So I think what's
America.
happening, this has happened so fast. It was just like everybody will tell you. It felt like an invasion. It's just stealth bombers coming in the middle of the night.
Data centers, you mean?
Yeah,
I
the
agree.
data centers.
I agree.
And they were just here.
Agreed.
And I think even council members were quickly wooed, non-DAs, and are now, again, stepping back and going, wait a second.
That's a good point.
I need more information here.
Yeah.
But at the
But at that point, it's too late. Once you sell your soul, you can't just ask for it back.
onset, I think the thing that's so frustrating for the people, or why I don't understand, you as city council members or any legislative body or office, why do you not listen to your constituents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What sign is it that you're missing? It's not one showing up. It's 100. It's 1,000.
This video would be so much better if this lady didn't do drugs before she showed up.
And disregarding
To be fair, they're probably prescription drugs.
your constituents' opinions.
Well, it's so funny you say that. I think it's interesting. People get into positions of like power and like elected
Probably anti-anxiety medication, to be specific.
positions, right? And they start listening uphill. Like, oh, this is where the better information's coming from because this is how I get invited to like a dinner party.
By the way, I know this because I've been around, I won't say who they are, but I've been around somebody for most of my life, a long period of my life, who did anti-anxiety medication for that entire time. It's very easy to spot.
Or, you know, maybe you get invited to eat a special box of croissants or something somewhere. Somebody cuts you off a beautiful sausage you never had or something. And that's, your ear starts to turn like, oh, well, this is where the true information comes from.
No, the true information always comes from the ground and the
I
people
agree.
up.
From the roots, baby. That's where the roots at. Hey, the roots. That's why they grow that way.
Hell
That's
yeah.
where it comes from.
Out the mud.
Oh, that was a good episode. I like that Theo Vaughn is getting a little more serious too, because does seem, you know, we need comedians because you know, they help soften the blow, make it easier to accept reality. We don't need comedians that are so full of themselves, or comedians that get bought out by Peter Thiel and fucking all these other people though. I do like that Theo Vaughn is getting more into the whole, like, not just the political sphere, but just the actual, like, what's happening in the world sphere rather than just comedy. It's very cool to see because he's one of the few comedians who's actually real. Like him, Tim Dillon, and Matt McCusker. Shane Gillis I love. I love Shane Gillis, but I think he's very careful about what he says because he's conscious that his career, his friends' careers, everybody he knows careers are running on him. So he's got to be careful. I could definitely get that. But I don't know. Great video. Theo Vaughn is the man.